first show. I was Gretel in The Sound of Music at the high school, even though I was only in the 3rd grade, and I felt like such a freaking badass. We are doing it, you guys. It's my first YouTube video, and I'm so excited. I'm actually committing to having this world where I'm sharing my thoughts, tips, opinions on health and fitness, motivation, recipes, everything. And I'm really excited that you're here. I just recently pulled my bicep tendon. There's some cute tear there, so I have like a whole like heat patch thing going on right there. So if this arm doesn't look as excited as this one, that's why. Yeah, what I wanted to talk about today is I just wanted to share a little bit of my stories. I think everyone needs to be better about doing is talking about their life experience, talking about where they were, how they got to where they are today, and where they're going. I think there's so much value in that, and you could be doing something that everyone else is doing too, but the main difference and why you can be successful is you. And so my story really began with like me growing up in the performing arts. Like I was always that person who was like, I am in chorus, I am in drama club, I am in dance classes, I have private voice lessons. Like I was all in with like being able to use my natural talents to be able to inspire people and like get up on a stage and like be the center of attention, because I'm a middle child, so it's definitely something that is like embedded in me. My first show, I was Gretel in The Sound of Music at the high school, even though I was only in the 3rd grade, and I felt like such a freaking badass because of the fact that like I was chosen to like hang out with the big kids. And from there, like went on to do like so many productions and taking various positions from performer to assistant director to choreographer. But it wasn't until I started working for a theater company where I learned that like leading others to do things that they didn't think they could do, or to like create a result within other people, that took a lot of hard work and like mentorship and like practice, was something that I loved to do. And I went through college auditions, which like if you have ever been through college auditions for musical theater or acting programs, like you understand how it is the worst period of your life. Like you are miserable all the time, and that it's grueling, and it's really hard on your self-esteem. And that was the first time in my life where I really noticed how much I was questioning like my worth as a person. And by the grace of God, like I got into NYU's acting program and was able to move to New York City as an 18-year-old from like the suburbs of Massachusetts, and like came here, pounded the concrete right from the get-go. And I started my conservatory training, and something that I had kind of been aware of during college auditions was with what my body looked like, and I felt like that was the main thing that was holding me back in my work as an actor. And like I wish I like look back now and I just want to give myself a big hug in that time of my life, because I've just learned so much about like what really taking care of your body means, and what the real root of the problem was. Had to do with a lot of stuff up here. I was in class 70 hours a week. I also had a job. I also had an internship at a theater company off Broadway. I also was in a long distance relationship. I just had a lot of things in the works that I couldn't even make that a priority. And so it led me to like trying to crash diet and binge eat and like feel really good for like 2 days, because like I showed up, I ate well, at least what I thought was eating well, but like was not balanced whatsoever. And then I would be like, well, I deserve it, it's day 3. And then I would just like I would eat like a whole thing of Chinese food in like 5 minutes. And it was just that cycle over and over and over again, mixed with like pushing myself so hard during school that I like just had no more juice to give, and really left a lot of my mental health to the wayside. And I was deteriorating because I didn't know how to truly take care of myself. I only knew what I had learned from society. It really wasn't any sort of like good example of like, this is how you eat well for your like whole life, and this is how you exercise regularly for your whole life. Because I was pushing myself so hard and I was really just not paying attention, I was just going through the motions and just trying my best to get by. It came to a screeching halt my junior year, where I locked myself in a closet and be weeping with Britton on the phone, and I didn't know what was going on. I really didn't understand. And so that came to a screeching halt when I tried to take my own life by getting hit by a car. And thank God that like I was not successful, and it was truly the best thing that ever happened to me was that moment where like I was waiting in the crosswalk, waiting for a cab to hit me, and I just felt the first pulse of energy that I felt in that entire semester of my life, where I had energy to move quickly. And I had felt nothing for so long but sadness and pain. But that spark of energy, I know, was God or one of my guardian angels like looking over at me being like, this is not your end. And I'm so grateful that that happened to me, because that was the moment that really I was able to shift from what I had been falling into for the patterns of my life, and gained some awareness around like, okay, it's time to start taking care of yourself. You don't know how, and that's okay, but we need to do something so that you stay here and that eventually you'll be able to come out on the other side. And thankfully I did, and I was like about to graduate college. All of like my plans that I had completely didn't happen because our plans never work the way we want them to, because there's a greater plan that it ends up being so much better for us. But I was just like, okay, well, I don't know what's gonna happen. I haven't even picked classes because I didn't get the internship that I wanted. I don't even know if I want to be an actor anymore. All of these questions came into my mind, and I was like, well, the thing I can focus on is me, and that no matter what happens career-wise, I at least know that Johanna as an individual, like, she's good. Yeah, so then I started taking care of my health and fitness, and I really made it a priority every single day. I was taking more dance classes that semester because I had room to be able to finish my dance minor. That was super helpful, having that built into my schedule, because I know for me, like, if it isn't work related, I will put it to the side as a true Capricorn, wait until it's like an absolute problem where it's like a bomb that's like blazing off. And then I'll finally take care of it once it's like an absolute necessity. And I did start to notice a little bit of difference. And like, I think the biggest game changer that was for me was taking that first photo where I was like, okay, this is my day one. And so a month later, I took another photo, and I was shocked because like I could not ever see a difference in my body whenever I tried being healthy. And granted, like, I wanted to just be like, okay, cool, awesome, like I'm good now, but like that's not the case. So every single first of the month I would take a new photo. I noticed more and more shifts, and I was like, okay, this is awesome, but like truly didn't really know what I was doing. So when it came time for graduation, and then after graduation I had moved to Nantucket to work at a yacht club, celebrations and whatnot, like I had no control, so I would just be ebbing and flowing, going back and forth, and not really seeing true results because of the fact that like I didn't know what I was doing. I was just doing my own thing, but like definitely like on the right track. When I was on Nantucket, I had gotten very sick, and I found out that I had mono, which like if they say you only get mono once, that is a lie. That is not true. It stays dormant in your body. And I had mono when I was like 14, and I got it again. And so I was so sick that I had to end my contract early, and I had to go home. So like when I had to just be like a couch potato during my like illness, it was pretty discouraging. And then I was like, well, I'm still sick, I need to start working again. And I ended up working full-time at that theater company that I worked at when I was younger as a choreographer and doing a lot of admin work. And I was like getting into a groove, and that was something that was really comfortable for me because every summer I worked at that theater company. And I loved it. Like, I loved the people I worked with. I loved the children I interacted with. Like, all the productions were so fun. I had tons of creative control. Like, it was amazing. But it was close to home, and it was the comfy option. And went through, and I was like, okay, this is feeling great. I actually had auditioned for a chorus line not too far away from that theater company and from where I was living, and got cast as Val, which was a dream role of mine. I also knew I wanted to move back to the city, but I like already said yes to the production, and so I was really at odds with myself of like, okay, I'm at a point where like my plans aren't going as I thought they would. So I decided, you know what? Like, F it, we're gonna go for it. And so like within a month, I like found roommates, found an apartment, went to the city unemployed, drowning in college debt, like basically rock bottom, went back to being long distance with my boyfriend, and just like still kind of unsure of like where my life would go. And so I really went all in with sharing my health and fitness journey on social media, and that like I decided I wanted to help people too. And that was the biggest gift that I could have given to myself, is like trusting that like I had something to offer. And I found a system that actually worked for me. I found a system of workouts and nutrition and just like personal development that truly transformed my world, and I wanted to share that with other people. At the same time, help myself feel good. And so I started a business. It was the best decision I could have possibly made, because now here I am 2 years later, like still a health and fitness coach, still helping people every single month get healthy and fit and develop the mindset to like get rid of diet culture, to get rid of whatever society has taught them to believe about their bodies. And that I've like really built some great rapport with other people in the industry who are doing the same thing as I'm doing. Because of that, I've so much more respect for people who have like changed career paths, or people who have like added something else into the mix and taken a chance on themselves just because of like a little spark inside of them. And because of like starting my business and diving into personal development and really taking care of my body in a way that's sustainable, like I've lost 40 pounds, which like is truly incredible, and like sometimes can't even believe it. And I think the more important thing is that like opened my mind up to what's possible for my life. Like I always thought I would be a struggling, starving artist, and that like I would never be able to travel, that I would never be able to have any sort of like comfort or sustainable wealth, or like anything that like I thought was just like excluded from me. But that's available to all of us. I earned a couple of trips where because of my ambition to help other people, like I was able to go to the Bahamas on an all expenses paid cruise. In this upcoming March, I'm gonna be going to Punta Cana, and I will be taking Britain. It's been such a gift to my life to know that like I can still make an impact and inspire people outside of the performing arts, but like still get to do the things that I love so much, pouring belief into people, helping them realize that they're capable of more than they ever imagined, and giving them real tactical tools and tips to grow and get better and just elevate their experience through my mentorship. And it's funny how like full circle that comes around from like my first job working at a theater company as a choreographer for like 8-year-olds, how that still holds true for what I'm doing now. Yeah, that's basically it. And now one of the other cool things is that like Britton and I, we are no longer long distance. We now live together in Brooklyn, in our like wonderful abode, in the coolest neighborhood ever. And yeah, that I just like feel like now I'm starting to live a life where not only do I love every single day, even if there are days that are more difficult, and just feel immense gratitude for like being courageous and taking some scary steps that I like didn't know would work for me. But I have so much, like I've gained so much because of those decisions, to be scared and do it anyways. Yeah, that's basically my story. Thank you for listening, and I will be coming out with more consistent content of the recipes I cook, of different workouts you could do, of personal development, some like kicks in the butt, and I would love if you can subscribe. If you want to leave a comment, that would be awesome, and just thanks for hanging out. Woo!